This is Carter Conlon. Welcome to my morning. I've got quite a thought for you today. It's something I've been meditating on this morning, and it's a derivative. I'm going to take an off ramp in a sense from a scripture. You'll understand that in just a moment. I'm going to talk to you about the titles in my life that I cherish the most. I've had a lot of titles in my day. For example, I've been called officer. I've been called pastor, evangelist, revivalist, general overseer, author, songwriter, just to name a few. Those have been wonderful seasons in my life, and I thank God for most of them. Most of them are past now, and they were titles I was given based on what I was doing. But I have three titles above and beyond all of these that I cherish with all my heart. The Apostle Paul, in 1 Corinthians chapter 11, or actually chapter 12, at the end of the chapter, he said, are all apostles, are all prophets, are all teachers? He's talking about the gifts of the Spirit. And he says, desire the best gifts. Now, most of these gifts come with a title, may I put it that way, a spiritual title that comes with the operation of whatever it is that God's given you to do. And I've had some of these in my life. But I want to talk to you again about the three that I cherish the most of all the titles that I've ever had in my lifetime. And number one on the list is the title of honey. It's what my wife calls me. She still calls me this after 48 years of marriage and 53 years since we met as a couple in college. And she still calls me honey, and she still says it with reverence. And isn't not reverence, but she says it with such deep affection. And isn't that something after all these years of knowing each other, and she knows my character inside and out. She knows the depth of my commitments and love, etc. And yet she still calls me honey. And I love every time she says it. And she says it with tenderness, not with, not with a harshness or not with an abruptness. There's always a sweet tenderness when she calls me honey. And I thank God that after all these years, that title is still applied to me by my wife. And I accept it as one of the greatest titles that God could have ever given me, because she still sees something worthwhile in my life after all these years to speak to me and use such an affectionate title for my life. The second title that I love and cherish is the title Dad. And probably more in the last little while than over all the years of raising three children, of being their dad, of coming home at night, of trying my best to lead them in devotions and guide their lives and provide for my three children and get them through their college experiences and help them to try to find the marriage partners that they have today. And although I didn't have a whole lot to do with that, but I did try to help as parents will do. And they found the most wonderful people all by themselves. Isn't that amazing? But they still call me Dad, and they say it with affection too as well. And even more so, I was in the hospital recently, just before my open heart surgery. My two sons came to New York City, and my daughter came in, and my wife, and the five of us. We hadn't been all five just alone for a long time, and we had a prayer meeting together. And I heard them, my sons and my daughter, pray for Dad. You know, God, just have mercy on Dad and let Dad live. And not just the way they were saying my name and the way they were saying, good night, Dad, goodbye, Dad, see you tomorrow, Dad, it'll all work out well, Dad. And it was just amazing to see and to hear the affection still in my children's voices for their father, you know. And it's not like you know, they haven't had experiences of their own and such like, but they still look back and they still see their dad, and they still, I love it when one of my children will call one of my sons or my daughter and say, and the first thing they say, Dad, I need your advice, or Dad, what would you do in this situation? And just, I love that title, honey, Dad. And then there's a third one, which is almost like the capstone or the crowning on the cake, may I put it that way. It's the title Papa. And there's 9 children that call me that. The oldest one is now a soldier, and the youngest one is, his name is Carter, and he's about 3 years old now. And just to hear them say my name, Papa, and Papa to them means ice cream. Papa to them means we can stay up late and we can watch a family movie together. Papa means hugs. Papa means playing a game of some sort that they like to play. Papa means it's just Papa. Papa means that I can show up on your doorstep, as with my teenage grandsons, and say, "Hey, I'm hungry. What do you got to eat?" That's who Papa is, and I love that. I love that title. I love the way my grandchildren say that. And those are the three titles that I cherish. The rest of them, it's been fun. Let's put it that way. And I'm thankful, a lot of good things happened over the years. But these three titles will remain: Honey, Dad, and Papa, as long as I live. And I'm just so thankful. I want to encourage you today, like Paul says, seek the best gifts. Seek the best titles, may I say. Seek titles that are going to stay with you the rest of your life. If you're a Christian and you're looking for a position in the church, and you'll be given a title, but it won't last. But seek the one that does last. Maybe if you don't have family, seek the title of friend. Somebody can call you a friend and they can call you that for life because you're just there for them. Seek a title that really matters and lasts. Because we're going to be called something through the course of our lives. I'd rather, in spite of all these other things, I put them in a box tomorrow and I can put them in the basement and they can stay there. But the titles that I want to keep for the rest of my days is Honey, Dad, and Papa. This is Carter Conlon. I'm having a good morning because I'm rethinking a lot of these things, and I'm also thinking of things that I can do in the future just to bless those that I love. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope today that my morning, again, will make your day. God bless you.